After wishing for his family to disappear, Kevin finds his desire came true. Before he can enjoy his freedom, he has to man up and defend his home, realizing family is the most important thing. A few days to Christmas, the McCallister family is preparing to go to Paris. The house is full of relatives and Kevin is not impressed. His parents and the hosts, Kate and Peter, don't have time for him, and his older cousins keep mocking him. Kevin is terrified when he's asked to pack his own suitcase, so he asks his older brother Buzz for help. Instead of helping, Buzz scares Kevin by telling him an old story regarding their elderly neighbor, Old Man Marley. He's said to be a serial killer whose first victims were his family. He pours salt on the ice, but the trunk he carries is where he places his victims, and the salt mummifies them. At the same time, a policeman is hoping to speak to an adult. Finally, Peter meets the officer, who says that they're doing a random check in the neighborhood due to the many burglaries happening in the area. Peter explains that they've taken the usual precautions and the officer leaves. The family gathers for dinner, but Kevin is furious when he finds out Buzz has eaten all the pizza he likes. Kevin rams into Buzz, causing milk to spill all over the ticket. Peter and Kate rush to clean up and stop the fight, with Peter accidentally throwing away Kevin's ticket. Kate takes Kevin to the attic and scolds him for being troublesome. Kevin retorts that everyone in the family hates him and that he wishes everyone would disappear. Kate says Kevin would feel sad if he found everyone gone, but Kevin confirms that he would be happy. That night, a freak accident occurred when a tree fell onto the electrical lines, causing a power shortage. The shortage turns off all the alarm clocks. In the morning, the family is woken up by airport transport drivers. Everyone rushes to do their morning chores so they can get to their airplane in time. A neighbor kid is hanging about and he gets mistaken for Kevin. The family gets into the vans with Peter's brother, saying they will not make it to their plane, seeing that it leaves in 45 minutes. The family gets to the airport and just makes it to the flight. They board and get settled, even though Kate feels she's forgotten something. Meanwhile, Kevin wakes up to an empty house. He walks around calling out for his family but finds no one. He sees the family's car in the garage and thinks that he made his family disappear. Once he confirms that he's truly alone, Kevin smiles in excitement. He spends the next few hours bathing with his parents' products, watching R-rated films, and eating whichever junk food he chooses to. Mid-flight, Kate finally realizes that she forgot Kevin in the attic. The family tries to calm her down, but she is worried. When they get to Paris, Kate grabs a phone from another woman and calls the police in Chicago. She explains that she has left a child at home and the officers promised to send someone to check it out. That night, the cop who spoke with Peter, Harry, drives into the house, revealing that he is a thief. He shows up with his partner Marv, who thinks their gang should be called the Wet Bandits. The two plan to rob the McCallister home that night. However, Kevin detects their presence and lights up all the bulbs in the house. This makes Harry think that the family hasn't left yet, so he postpones the robbery to the next night. Kevin walks out the door yelling to the intruders that he isn't afraid. However, he runs into Marley and quickly goes back into the house, screaming for his life. Since it is the holiday season, Kate has a hard time getting a return flight to Chicago. A police officer gets to the McCallister home, but Kevin doesn't answer the door as he assumes the intruder might be Marley. Kate manages to get a flight to Pennsylvania and agrees to take it, refusing to wait 2 days with the rest of the family. In the morning, Kevin realizes he doesn't have a toothbrush, so he decides to get one in the supermarket. He goes into Buzz's room to get money and accidentally breaks down Buzz's drawer, causing his pet spider to escape. Kevin gets the money and goes to the supermarket, but leaves without paying when he encounters Marley. Meanwhile, the Wet Bandits are robbing another house when they learn that the McCallister house is indeed empty. While leaving the house, Marv leaves the water running. Harry is angry as this isn't the first time that he's done that, and in their argument they nearly run over Kevin. Kevin realizes that Harry is the same officer who came to his home as he wears a gold tooth. Kevin walks home, but Harry and Marv start following him. He hides by disguising himself in the statues outside the church. After the bandits leave, Kevin runs home. That night, the bandits find people in the McCallister home and have to abandon the mission again. It turns out that Kevin is using boards to trick the bandits. Kevin orders a pizza and uses a TV movie to scare the pizza delivery guy into leaving so he can't pay a tip. The following day, Kevin buys a few things from the supermarket and then does laundry. He's busy cutting a tree for Christmas when the Wet Bandits spot him. They realize that a child has been messing with them and they decide to strike that night. Kevin overhears the bandits planning to raid the house and gets scared. Later, he meets up with the local Santa Claus. He knows he isn't the real Santa Claus and gives the local Santa a message to pass on to the real Santa. He says that he wants his family back this year instead of presents. Meanwhile, Kate cannot find a flight to Chicago from Pennsylvania. She begs the other travelers, offering various trade items to no avail. Gus, the lead member of a traveling polka band, overhears her and offers to take her by road on the condition that she doesn't mind traveling with the other band members. Kevin goes to church and listens to a few Christmas hymns. While waiting, he's approached by Marley, who has come to watch his granddaughter sing in the choir. He reveals that he never spends time with his granddaughter because he is estranged from his son. Kevin confesses that he hasn't been good to his family either. Kevin advises Marley to call his son, but the older man is afraid of being rejected. Kevin tells him that if he never calls, he'll never know. This also gives Kevin the motivation to defend his home. The two talk for a while, creating a friendship between them. Kevin runs home and prepares for the bandits. First, he gets a map of the house's layout and notes the entrance and exit points. He then pours tar and water on the stairs to make them slippery. He sets up a few booby traps in the house and creates an escape plan for himself. With all that prepared, Kevin prepares dinner, but the clock strikes 9 p.m, so he aborts his dinner and lies in wait. The bandits taunt him, saying they won't hurt him, but Kevin shoots Harry on his nether regions. Marv stupidly goes to investigate and suffers the same fate, only this time he's shot on the face. The bandits decide to use the front and basement stairs, but they slip. An iron hits Marv on the face and he seeks an alternate route. He removes his shoes due to the tar, but ends up getting impaled on his foot by a naked nail on the steps. Meanwhile, Harry uses an alternative route but burns his hand on the doorknob. He goes to another door and opening it triggers a flamethrower that burns his hat and hair. Angry, Harry runs into the house and starts looking for Kevin but gets caught in a few frustrating traps. Similarly, Marv enters through the window but steps on some Christmas decorations that injure his wounded feet. The two continue facing Kevin's traps, including being hit on the head with paint cans. Kevin calls the police to report a robbery in progress and then runs away. Sadly, Marv catches his foot and refuses to let go. Luckily, Kevin finds Buzz's spider and places it on Marv's face, allowing him to escape. He uses a rope to get into the treehouse and calls the bandits to get him before he calls the police. Harry and Marv get on the rope and start advancing towards the treehouse, but Kevin cuts the cord, causing them to hit the house's wall and fall. They quickly recover and see Kevin running away, so they follow him. He stops near a flooded house, showing that the bandits had been there earlier. Unfortunately, he's captured and the bandits want to harm him, but Marley hits them with his shovel. He grabs Kevin just as the police arrive and arrest the wet bandits, explaining that they've been ransacking empty houses for a while now. Kevin gets home and starts cleaning up everything, hoping Santa Claus will get the message and bring back his family. On Christmas morning, Kevin wakes up excited, but he doesn't see his family when he gets downstairs. He is heartbroken, but soon Kate gets into the house and calls out for her son. She is surprised to find the place tastefully decorated. Kevin tearfully reunites with his mother just as the rest of the family enters. They had taken the plane that Kate was too impatient to wait for. The whole family reunites with Kevin, and after settling in, Kevin watches Marley welcome his son's family into his house. The two share a look just as Buzz yells out Kevin's name for ruining his room. He was left home alone, but now he wishes to have a separate vacation from his family this time. However, he gets more than he bargained for after landing in a strange city with familiar enemies. 1 year after Kevin was left home alone, the McCallister family gathers at Kate's and Peter's home in Illinois, preparing to leave for Miami for Christmas. The night before the departure, Kevin and Buzz attend a pageant. When it's time for Kevin's solo, Buzz embarrasses him, causing the audience to laugh hysterically. This makes Kevin so angry that he shoves Buzz, accidentally causing everyone else to fall. Later, Buzz apologizes to the family and Kevin, but makes a discreet comment to show his apology was fake. Kevin refuses to apologize, so he's sent to the attic. Kate tries talking to Kevin, but he refuses to apologize and says he would travel alone to a different destination if he had money. That night, a newspaper clipping latches onto the door, revealing that the wet bandits had escaped in a prison riot. Since Peter had failed to reset the alarm clock when he unplugged it from the charger, the family oversleeps again. Luckily, they make it in time to the airport. On the way to the plane, Kevin takes his father's bag so he can retrieve batteries for his camcorder. He stops for a while but quickly spots his father, who's running to get his flight. At the gate, Kevin is so distracted calling his father to wait up that he rams into the attendant, causing all the tickets to fall. The attendant gets him into the plane after he shows her Peter a few aisles down. Kevin tries talking with the passenger next to him, but the man speaks a foreign language. He continues speaking, so Kevin puts on his headset and plays loud music, missing the flight attendant's announcement. Soon, the plane reaches its destination and Kevin alights. However, he cannot find any of his family members and waits until the plane is cleared. He realizes the man he had followed was not his father, he was just wearing a similar coat. Kevin talks to an airport worker and is surprised to learn that he's in New York. Meanwhile, on the plane to Miami, Kate confesses that she has a feeling like she forgot something. The McCallister family gets to Miami, which is gloomy and rainy. They get their bags and Kate passes on Kevin's bag. However, it comes back since Kevin is nowhere to be seen. This shocks Kate and she passes out. Kate and Peter report the incident to the airport police. The policeman thinks that Kevin must still be in Chicago, so he will notify the police department there. Kate wonders whether this is a McCallister family trouble tradition. The police also put an alert on Peter's credit card, hoping that if Kevin uses it, it will help them locate him. Kevin is very excited to be in New York. He spends most of the day exploring various spots in the city. He bumps shoulders with Harry, who has come into the city in a fish truck with Marv. Marv is wearing a sticky glove and suggests that their gang be called the Sticky Bandits. Kevin goes into the park but encounters a woman with lots of pigeons flocking to her. This scares Kevin so much that he runs away. He uses his father's credit card to book a suite at the Plaza Hotel. He explains that his father is on a business meeting, so the concierge allows him entry into the hotel. Kevin enjoys eating luxurious food while watching R-rated movies. However, the hotel's manager doubts Kevin's story about traveling with his father and asks the concierge to keep a keen eye on Kevin. Later that evening, the manager sneaks into the hotel room to confirm his suspicions. Kevin uses an inflatable toy to pass as his father taking a shower and then plays a voice recording he took of his uncle at home. This frightens the manager and he runs away ashamed. The following day, the manager arranges to have Kevin use the hotel's limo service as an apology for his actions the previous night. Kevin asks to be taken to a toy store. After he leaves, the manager realizes that Kevin's credit card is registered as stolen. Elsewhere, Marv and Harry decide to rob a toy store since they make the most sales on Christmas and rarely have time to take the money to the banks. Kevin buys a few things at Duncan's toy chest and learns that all the money collected is taken to the children's hospital. Kevin makes a donation and is given a pair of turtle doves as a gift. He's advised to keep one and give the other to a close friend. As he exits the store, he realizes that the man who had given him the turtle doves is the store owner, Mr. Duncan. Kevin finds that the limo driver has driven off. Marv and Harry exit the toy store and quickly spot Kevin. They try to grab him, but he screams and runs away, losing them in the crowd. He runs into the hotel but finds the manager waiting for him. He takes the credit card and says Kevin will have to explain his actions to the police. Scared, Kevin rushes into his room and grabs a few cookies. He then plays a tape to distract the hotel manager and his team so that he can escape. Sadly, he ends up right in the hands of the bandits who are waiting at the back entrance. The bandits drag Kevin all over the city, with Marv telling Kevin their plans to rob the toy store on Christmas night. Kevin records the revelation and then thinks of an escape plan. He grabs a woman's behind, causing her to assault Marv and Harry. The distraction helps him escape the bandits by hiding in the trunk of a carriage. He makes his way into a townhouse where his uncle lives as written in his father's notebook. Sadly, the house is undergoing renovation, so Kevin keeps walking and ends up in the park at night. He feeds a few pigeons his cookies, but screams in horror when he encounters the pigeon lady. He tries running away, but his shoe is stuck in the rocks. The pigeon lady helps him and Kevin runs away. However, he comes back and apologizes to the pigeon lady for screaming in her face. The two talk for a while. She takes him to Carnegie Hall and explains how her life fell apart after her relationship ended. Kevin advises her to have faith in humanity once more, for it's better to be with someone else than alone. In turn, the woman asks Kevin to do a good deed. Kevin walks around the streets feeling lonely. He comes across the children's hospital where Mr. Duncan said the toy store money would go. This reminds Kevin of the Sticky Bandits' plan. He breaks into his uncle's townhouse and booby-traps it. He then goes to the toy store and finds Marv and Harry stealing the money. Kevin throws a stone attached to a letter into the store, causing the alarm to ring. Marv and Harry chase after Kevin, who directs them into the townhouse. Kevin gets to the roof and throws a few bricks at Marv. The two bandits try to get into the house but end up falling into Kevin's traps. Meanwhile, the McCallister family flies to New York after the credit card is flagged. Kate slaps the manager for letting Kevin escape. Peter wants to go to the police station, but Kate refuses to wait in the hotel room and opts to go into the city and look for her son. Kevin continues to give the bandits a hard time. Marv ends up getting electrocuted while Harry catches on fire. However, the two are determined to get Kevin since he's taken a few pictures of them robbing the store. Kevin exits the townhouse and lures the bandits away. He quickly calls the police and tells them of the robbery. He gives them the address and tells them to look out for the fireworks as the signal. Unfortunately, he slips on the ice and the bandits catch him. They take him to the park where Harry intends to kill Kevin. His weapon is jammed due to the paint and garnish it's collected in Kevin's traps. Suddenly, the pigeon lady appears and demands that the bandits leave Kevin alone. Kevin runs away and the pigeon lady pours grains on the bandits. The pigeons flock to them, allowing Kevin to set off the fireworks that bring the police to the location. The bandits are caught and Marv keeps revealing secrets about their actions, including escaping prison. Mr. Duncan gets Kevin's note at the toy store explaining why he broke the window and thanking him for the turtle doves. Mr. Duncan smiles fondly as he remembers his interaction with Kevin. Meanwhile, Kate is still in the city, asking the passers-by if they've seen Kevin. She finds two cops and requests for assistance. One of the officers advises her to put herself in Kevin's shoes. This makes her remember Kevin's desire for a Christmas tree. She asks for a ride and the police officers take her there. Kate finds Kevin making a wish at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. He's hoping to see his mother even if just for a minute so he can apologize for his actions. He then hears his mother's voice and turns around happily. Mother and son embrace tearfully. On Christmas morning, the family wakes up to lots of presents from Mr. Duncan. He's appreciative to Kevin for helping save the money for the hospital. Buzz allows Kevin to open the first present and the brothers reconcile. Kevin runs into the park to meet the pigeon lady. He gives her one of the turtle doves, explaining that they will always be friends. Kevin's sweet moment is interrupted by Peter's screaming as his son has amassed $967 in room service.